Hey there everybody, Scudder here today, and I'm out here in the shop this evening, and I come out here and tinker around sometimes when, when I need to think and just kind of get away, be by myself for a little bit. And something has been on my mind for quite a while, and thought I would talk to you guys about it. Um, you know, I know that there are a lot of people out there right now, and more growing every day, who are following this Patriot Movement that seems to be growing because people are upset about what's going on in our country. And now, they're railing against all of that. We see just tons of channels now on YouTube of people who have joined the Patriot Movement, and they're doing news reporting, and they're talking about how we're not going to take it, and we're going to rise up and fight against it, all of that kind of stuff. And I watch it just like a lot of other people do. It's almost as if it's kind of like watching a wreck happen. It's bad. It's going to be terrible to see, but there's a morbid curiosity, and you just have to watch until it happens. That's kind of what this is like. And, and it affects all of us. It really does. Because the things that are taking place in the world today affects every human life out there. But I keep wondering why so many of those people, many of them who profess to be Christians, are trying to save your life, but they're not trying to save your soul. And now, a person can't save another person's soul. Only the Lord can do that. But I see so many of these people that are in this Patriot Movement who are not sharing the news about that and not telling people how they can give their life to Jesus. And I'm not downing the Patriot Movement for what it is. The news is good. It's good to be prepared. I guess the thing that I keep looking at it from is that I know Bible prophecy. And as hard as we fight against all of this and want to fight against all of this, I know that there is nothing that can be done to stop it. Because ultimately, the things that are laid out in prophecy that have been for thousands of years are going to take place. And we can't stop that from happening. God has already decreed that it will happen, and it's going to happen. And my concern is that it's going to happen sooner than later. So, so I'm not trying to down, the people in the Patriot Movement for what they do, but I guess ultimately, I think if you do all of this fighting and railing against, the New World Order and the one world government system and the Antichrist and all of that, yet if your soul does not belong to Jesus, then you've done it all for naught anyway. Because in the end, ultimately, what really matters is who gets your soul. Because the Bible tells us that many of us will be killed. And, people don't want to hear that. They don't want to think that. But that's just the harsh reality. That's what it is. There will be many Christians killed, during the end times. And we have to be prepared to face that reality. No matter how many, supplies of food we have, and no matter how many guns we have, and, no matter how hard we hide, if it's our time to be killed during that time, it will happen. And there's nothing that we can do to prevent that. But the important thing is what happens to your soul. Because ultimately, whoever is in charge of your soul basically is in charge of what happens to you for the rest of eternity. Now, there are people out there I know who even watch my channel that are not Christians. And you can either take me for a crazy, religious nut, or you can sit here and listen to what I have to say. No one is going to force you to be a Christian. No one is going to force you to follow Jesus Christ. But there is coming a time when you will have to make a decision. You will have to decide whether you're going to follow Satan and the Antichrist, or else you're going to have to suffer for not following those two. So you are going to be faced with the decision. Every human being on this earth that is alive during that time will be faced with it. So you need to start thinking about who you're going to follow. And if you're going to follow Jesus, it's probably going to be tough. It really is. And, that's kind of hard for us to think about, because we think, well, maybe it might be easier following the other way. But ultimately, where your soul ends up, that's going to determine where you spend the rest of eternity. Now, as for me, I think I would prefer to spend the rest of eternity with Jesus and be in heaven, as opposed to being with Satan and being in hell in utter torment for the rest of my life. And that's not, I'm not trying to use scare tactics. I'm just trying to tell you what the reality is. You can believe me or not believe me. That's your choice. But if you choose not to follow Jesus and accept him as your Savior and give your life to him and try to lead your life according to God's will, then you're going to have to suffer the consequences of that. So, I want to encourage you guys to really think about this. I will probably do some more videos along these lines, but I would really like to encourage you, if you're not a Christian, to consider what your life might be like if you did follow Jesus Christ. Following Jesus, accepting him as your Savior, is probably one of the easiest things that you can do. The hard part comes when you have to actually live it. And no one's going to tell you, if they're being honest with you, that being a Christian is easy. But the benefits outweigh the negative. Some days it's tough being a Christian. You live by a different code, and and you're faced with the same stuff that everyone else is day by day. But it's about the choices that you make. And if you accept Jesus, then he gets into your heart, and that instills in your life, and you find yourself wanting to live your life for him, because you know that the reality is that one day you will get to see him, and you will get to spend eternity with him. So, if you want to think about being a Christian, then, all you have to do is pray. It doesn't have to be this formal prayer. It doesn't have to be this, oh, thou art thou kind of stuff. Just talk to God, and, let him know your concerns. And when you think that you're ready to accept Jesus as your Savior, and you're ready to turn your life over to him and turn things around, then just simply talk to Jesus. Tell him that you know that you've sinned, and that you are sorry for those sins, and that you want him to come live in your heart, and that you accept him as Lord and Savior, and that you want to live your life for him. That's all you have to do, and he will do that for you. And then once you become a Christian, once you've done that and you've accepted him into your heart, then you just need to simply start getting in your Bible and reading, talking to other Christians, and learning what it means to be a child of Jesus Christ. So, as far as the Patriot Movement goes, I guess that was the point of this video, is that, for all the good that the Patriot Movement is trying to do, they cannot save your soul. Only Jesus can save your soul. And in the end, when all of this is said and done, that is going to be what is most important. So I want you guys to think about that. You guys that have channels where you're doing all this Patriot stuff, think about what's really important. And maybe you need to start sharing this message with some of the people that watch your channels as well. Because, ultimately, we all have to answer for what we do on this earth. And the Lord's going to ask you one day, why you've had this channel and why you did not share the opportunity for others to come to know Him. So, something for you guys to think about. If you have any questions, leave them in the comment section below, and I'll try to get to them. It's hard sometimes because I stay so busy, but if I don't get to them, someone else may. So, you guys take care. Be blessed. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.